1,000 pounds of artichokes, carrots, olives, and vinaigrette. According to the organizers, the purpose of this record is to promote the consumption of artichoke in the country. Now, this is the eighth Guinness record of the university, which also has quinoa salad, chocolate tasting, and the largest causa lemonina in the world.
What is that? Do you know
yeah, I looked it up. It's some bizarro little stack of food. It had chicken in it. It had like quail's eggs on top. It was bizarre. But artichokes, I do know.
There watching people make salad.
It's a big crowd.
Thank you for your help today.
Yes,
you'll be back tomorrow.
Yes, as long as the peanut gallery doesn't show up.
Thanks for watching, everybody. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.
Right now at 5, Madison city officials are planning ahead when it comes to public transit, what you could see in the future.
A Rock County school is changing its cell phone policy, what they're doing to make sure that students stay focused in the classroom.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 5.
And thanks for staying with News 3 Now. As the population of Dane County grows and traffic increases, Madison city officials are planning for the future.
By 2050, they expect 100,000 new residents and 800,000 additional road trips to school, work, and other destinations. Our Madeline O'Neill is live downtown with new details on a plan that Madison's mayor is calling her top priority for her administration. Maddie?
Hi, Susan and Eric. Well, here on the square, you'll see a bus go by every couple minutes, if not more. The mayor is hoping to raise a new generation of bus riders, and to do that, they're trying to improve the way the bus transit system works in our region. Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway is releasing details of her new rapid transit plan called Metro Forward. The plan intends to improve access to buses with more routes and subsidize passes for those in need. The mayor says rapid transit will also decrease travel times for bus riders up to 25%, with improvements including dedicated lanes, larger buses. This is all to prepare for the future.
Congestion is predicted to double. We can't have a superhighway through the isthmus and gridlock in the rest of the city. We need to get ahead of this growth now and build a modern, rapid transit infrastructure.
Metro Forward also aims to address racial disparities in travel times and combat climate change with a plan to have a full fleet of all-electric buses by 2023. Now, to fund the about $200 million project, they're planning to use a mix of federal and state grants along with local partnerships. Coming up at 6, we'll have more on what this plan means to the everyday commuter.
Madeline O'Neill live downtown. Maddie, thank you. The vehicle involved in a deadly hit-and-run crash on Madison's north side has been found in Madison. Traffic investigators with the Madison Police Department have not made an arrest in the case. The crash happened Thursday night when 60-year-old Daryl Sunderledge was hit as he walked along the 1700 block of Northport Drive. He died several days later. The vehicle involved was an SUV. Officers originally thought a sedan was involved. Anyone with information on this crash is asked to contact Madison Area Crime Stoppers.
An investigation is underway into what caused a fire at a restaurant on Madison's west side. Fire officials say that call came in about 3:30 this morning for a fire at Cowboy Jack's along John Q. Hammonds Drive. They say there was no automatic sprinkler system installed in that building at the time of the fire. The building now is considered a total loss. 15 units responded to the fire. They were able to put it out quickly.
The fire itself was under control within a lot faster than that. It took an hour to be officially declared out, but our crews worked fast. They were here in just a few minutes.
And luckily, firefighters say no one was injured in that fire.
Let's get a check on the weather now. Gary Canalti is on the warm weather patio. Gary?
Warm and humid. Still pretty sticky out here. Those dew point temperatures are remaining in the 60s. Visible cloud track is showing some thunderstorms that have been developing over parts of eastern Iowa. They've been weakening as they push toward Wisconsin. They've also been moving a little farther to the south into parts of eastern Iowa rather than towards southwestern Wisconsin. Can't rule out a shower or thunderstorm mainly west of Madison this evening, but our better chances for rain will come later on tonight. Temperatures right now are in the upper 70s to the lower 80s. Again, cooler near Lake Michigan, but look at those dew point temperatures, mid 60s to around 70 degrees. And by tomorrow morning, probably see some patchy fog along with some scattered showers and thunderstorms late tonight into tomorrow morning, and maybe another chance chance tomorrow afternoon. Otherwise, it'll be another warm and humid day tomorrow with a high of 80. That's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
Thank you, Gary. UW Eau Claire is investigating after a student says she found a racist message written on her door. Go back to the res. That's the message UW Eau Claire Jr. Katie Langer says was written on her dorm room door Sunday morning. Langer is a member of the Red Lake Ojibwe tribe and says this has happened to her before.
Language within what is said was very violent, and that kind of harmed me because this is like my living space. This is where I live, you know, day-to-day basis. I should be safe at this campus, and when they say those type of things, it's not.
The assistant chancellor, along with other students, agree there is room for improvement at the university in fighting racism. The university is trying to figure out who is responsible for the message.
Family and friends are upset with the Kenosha Unified School District's decision over a memorial to a former student. Kaylee Juga and her mom were shot inside their own home in May. Kaylee died. Her mother is still recovering. Kenosha County prosecutors say Kaylee's ex-boyfriend Martise Fuller pulled the trigger. Kaylee's cheerleading team at Bradford High School had planned to honor her by wearing special t-shirts in her favorite color of blue and doing something special during halftime. The students were told, however, by the Kenosha School District that the remembrance would not be allowed, saying, quote, the district will not sanction any memorials or acknowledgments because it would be legally required to do so for all students involved in order to protect the district against possible legal claims. Instead, the district will remain neutral. While the district fully supports students and staff in moments of crisis, it cannot allow memorializing or acknowledging one student without allowing it for both. Dane County Sheriff's deputies conducted a traffic stop on a stolen vehicle on East Wash early this morning. A canine alerted them to drugs in that vehicle. Police canine Freed responded, made a positive alert for drugs in that car. The driver, 38-year-old Samantha Pritzkow, was arrested and could face multiple counts, including operating a motor vehicle without owner's consent, bail jumping, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Pritzkow also had 6 other valid warrants for her arrest. The passenger, 35-year-old Alyssa Kolsch, was arrested on a probation warrant and a parole warrant. Both women are being held in the Dane County Jail.
The CEO of Paradigm released a statement as the company prepares to mark the anniversary of the workplace shooting there. Tomorrow marks 1 year since 4 people were hurt when a WTS Paradigm employee began shooting inside the software company's Middleton office on Deming Way. All 4 employees who were shot are now back at work. CEO Nathan Herbst thanked his employees for their courage and also thanked first responders by saying, quote, we are eternally grateful for the heroism of first responders, the compassion of doctors, nurses, and mental health professionals, and for the support of our customers and community. The company has also created the Paradigm Foundation, which is a charity whose first initiative has been supporting first responders. News 3 Now is sitting down with some of those first responders and the chief of the Middleton Police Department, and we will share that conversation starting tomorrow on News 3 Now this morning with continuing coverage throughout the day.
A local organization aiming to get stricter laws passed on gun control is hosting a rally at the Capitol tonight.
Here's a live look at the setup so far. The Wisconsin Coalition for Gun Safety is hosting this event. It starts in about half an hour. They will have speakers from the state legislature that are expected to talk about 2 bills about gun control that have been introduced this session. They also have a speaker from Moms Demand Action and Doctors for America. We'll hear more about this event coming up tonight on News 3 Now at 6.
A powerful public service announcement against gun violence in schools hits the airwaves. The PSA mimics a typical back-to-school commercial, but it has a dark twist as the students use their backpack full of school items during a school shooting. It is the latest ad from the anti-gun violence group Sandy Hook Promise, founded by family members of Sandy Hook victims. Mark Barden's son Daniel was one of 26 children and educators killed in the 2012 elementary school massacre.
We hope that people who do watch it are inspired to action. It's not easy, and it shouldn't be. We're talking about a school shooting, and you can't sanitize that.
Meanwhile, lawmakers are facing increased pressure to act. CBS News says the White House is considering universal background checks as well as a ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. The Madison Common Council is asking the Air Force to reconsider plans to put the F-35 at Truax Field in Madison. After several hours of public comment, that resolution passed by the council asks the Air Force to pick another location unless it can address the environmental impacts for homes near Truax Field. The F-35 slightly louder than the aging fleet of F-16s currently flying out of Truax. Supporters say the F-35 would preserve hundreds of jobs and an annual economic impact of about $100 million, plus add new jobs and create new construction.
What is the impact of these jets, and how do we balance that with the economic opportunity? And the answer is we can do that, and we have done it time and time again in this community.
One of the things that concerns me is that there's just a lot of different interpretations about what this project would really mean. And so I just feel like we need to know more.
A decision on the F-35 would be made early next year, with the jets arriving as early as 2023.
Educators in one Rock County school district say a change in cell phone policy is already paying off.
Rock County reporter Adam Duxter spoke to leaders at Edgerton High School and explains how policies like this are becoming more popular across southern Wisconsin.
Well, Susan and Eric, it seems like our cell phones have become somewhat of an extension of our person nowadays. Leaders in the Edgerton School District say that's not always a good thing. Now they're trying to find answers to eliminate distractions during instructional time. It's a slow class period for Edgerton teacher Shyler Gunlock. Normally, the high school math teacher sees a packed house.
My biggest class is 32 students. We fill up every desk but 2.
And when that happens,
I could see cell phones anywhere between 2 and 3 times a class to up to 5 to 6 times a class.
Cell phones in her class. Prior to this year, the high school had more of an out-of-sight, out-of-mind policy. But with less than an hour of instruction time for most classes, even the smallest distractions were becoming an issue.
To be able to feel that buzz or hear that ding or something along those lines was enough for them to be distracted and take that cell phone out, check Snapchat, check whatever it was, and in the process, we were losing our instruction time.
Principal Dr. Mark Coombs says that's why the district began brainstorming other ideas to get phones out of the hands of students during class.
We ask that they put their cell phone in a pouch.
Enter the pouch.
The students should turn their cell phones off, drop it in the pouch.
And in just a few weeks, teachers like Miss Gunlock say it's making a difference.
And I can see students more frequently working on their homework or asking questions because they're not so involved in their phones. And it kind of just gives me a sense of comfort knowing that, hey, the only thing that they're going to be distracted by are things that are in this room right now.
And while teachers and administrators understand it might take longer for the students to embrace the idea, Dr. Coombs says it's not personal, rather all about learning.
We're not trying to stifle social media, but we are trying to get back that academic time that we feel is extremely valuable to our kids in education.
And I did ask Dr. Coombs, what about using a cell phone to look something up or use a calculator? And he says that's where the Chromebooks issued to each and every high school student in the district come into play.
Adam, thank you. The district says since the policy has been put in place, he's actually been contacted by colleges like Madison College looking to do the same. He says he wouldn't be surprised if similar ideas even make their way into the workforce.
Dane County leaders are looking at changing the name of Squaw Bay on Lake Monona. They say the goal is to find a name that is considered less offensive to members of the Ho-Chunk Nation. Ho-Chunk officials are recommending renaming it Muskrat Bay, renewing a request they first suggested in 2005. The group is requesting the Dane County Department of Planning and Development make the application to the Wisconsin Geographic Names Council by October 1st.
In Rock County, a mission to help rescue a turtle did not go as planned. First responders in Janesville say they responded to the Rock River about 11:30 this morning for a car in the water. The car's owner says she was trying to release a turtle when she forgot to put the car in park. One person who saw the car jumped in the water to help.
I noticed the car floating down the river and coming towards me. So I quick drove down the hill, called 911, and told them where the car was. And then I took everything out of my pockets and I proceeded to swim out to where the car was and made sure nobody was inside. I checked the back of the car and the front of the car. I got inside the car and looked around and there was nobody in it.
A lot of people meant well in this story. Fortunately, nobody was hurt. Crews spent the afternoon getting that vehicle out of the river. Now, there's more to come on News 3 Now at 5. Up next, the Swedish teen takes the youth climate movement all the way to Capitol Hill, why young leaders plea for lawmakers to act now.
And then coming up tonight at 6, the village of Wanakee is working on stricter rules for Airbnb rentals. We'll explain at 6.
And on Wall Street, the Dow surges 36 points up today. The Nasdaq loses almost 9. The S&P adds a point. We'll be right back. The U.S. and Saudi Arabia are working together to show Iran is responsible for an attack on Saudi oil facilities, and that happened over the weekend.
President Trump says he will be adding sanctions to Iran in retaliation for the strike. CBS News has learned U.S. satellites captured images of Iran moving drones and missiles into firing position, but no one recognized the threat until it was too late. White House officials would not rule out further action, including a military response, and said all options are on the table.
There's plenty of time to do some dastardly things. It's very easy to start, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I think we have a lot of good capital. If we have to do something, we'll do it without hesitation.
Iran denies it had any role in the attack.
Greta Thunberg joined a group of teen climate activists to deliver a blunt message to members of Congress. The 16-year-old Swedish teen urged U.S. lawmakers to unite behind science and tell the truth about climate change before it becomes irreversible.
We need to inform them and start treating this crisis like the existential emergency it is. Then I think people will understand.
Polls show more than 60% of Americans disapprove of President Trump's handling of climate change. Young people across the world plan to join Thunberg in a global climate strike on Friday. She'll address the UN Climate Action Summit next week in New York.
Gary's here now with a look at the forecast. And how long will this warmth stay with us, Gary?
At least a couple more days. We'll see temperatures in the 80s, probably still the upper 70s on Saturday with some humidity, but then a break in the heat and humidity for next week. With all that moisture around, so far we haven't seen much in the way of thunderstorms here, but there have been some clusters of storms developing over parts of eastern Iowa. These are actually traveling more toward the southeast, so the first batch most likely will stay south of us, although we can't rule out a shower or thunderstorm over southwestern Wisconsin. The better chances for rain will come with activity that's just moving to northern Minnesota right now. That will head southeastward and probably affect us late tonight into tomorrow morning. The latest computer model forecast from the U.S. GFS computer model, the main weather forecasting computer model, this is all the way through Sunday night, calling for a general half-inch to an inch of rain over southern Wisconsin. But that could be a little deceiving because there'll be places that pick up an inch or two in heavier thunderstorms. And if they get those tonight, later tonight and tomorrow morning, and then again Saturday, then that could lead to some 3 or 4 inch amounts. But generally, hopefully the amounts will stay more in line with what the computer models are showing right now. Live view from the WISC Skycam showing a little more cloud cover now. Skies will turn cloudy for tonight. And the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison showing hazy sunshine over the southern end of Lake Mendota. As we check out the almanac for today, high temperature back up at 81, the low 62, so you can see still more than 10 degrees above the average. And right now we're at 81 with partly sunny skies. Winds are out of the south at 21 miles per hour. Dew point temperature still pretty high for mid-September in the mid-60s. Tropical depression Imelda right now, maximum sustained winds of 30 miles per hour. It's drifted north of Houston. You can see all the showers and thunderstorms here. That'll bring a heavy rain threat to the eastern portion of Texas as it drifts northward over the next couple of days. Powerful Hurricane Umberto right now with maximum sustained winds of 120 miles per hour, moving pretty rapidly to the east-northeast at 20 miles per hour. Forecast track will take it north and west of Bermuda and then basically keep it fairly strong until it starts moving out into the waters of the North Atlantic, which are cooler. That will weaken it, but still, this storm could eventually affect parts of, say, Ireland and the United Kingdom with strong winds a couple of days beyond the end of the forecast track. Temperatures right now range from the mid-70s in northeastern Wisconsin to the low 80s in the southwestern part of the state. The really warm air now is shifting a little bit farther to our south and west, but look at the dew point temperatures in the upper 60s to around 70 over western Wisconsin and mid 60s here in Madison. You can see on weather track the upper level winds still from the southwest. These showers and thunderstorms are the first of a couple of batches of storms that will affect us over the next few days. A weak cold front to our north and west divides slightly cooler or drier air to the north and west to the warm and humid air where temperatures are in the upper 80s to lower 90s. Behind that front, temperatures still in the upper 70s to around 80, and that front will actually wash out over the next couple of days, so our temperatures should still stay around 80 or a little bit above through Friday. For tonight, becoming cloudy and mild. Patchy fog late tonight, low of 64. Some showers and thunderstorms. Best chances will be later on tonight into tomorrow morning. Then we'll see variably cloudy skies tomorrow with a high of 80. Still can't rule out a shower or thunderstorm at some point during the rest of the day. On future track, you can see the better chances for showers and storms arriving late tonight into tomorrow morning. Maybe a couple popping up in the afternoon. High temperature around 80. Tomorrow night, just a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm with lows in the mid-60s. And then Saturday, we'll see some showers and thunderstorms. Or Friday, just a chance for for a shower thunderstorm during the day. The local computer model shows amounts of rain closer to an inch or an inch and a half. I think most likely about a ½ inch of rain, but some amounts in excess of an inch or two in the heavier showers and thunderstorms. 7 to 10 day forecast, showers and storms over the weekend lead to slightly cooler and less humid weather as we head for the rest of next week. Maybe some thunderstorm chances toward the end of the following weekend. As we take a look at First Alert traffic right now, here's the DOT camera at the Beltline and Park Street. Traffic moving pretty slowly in both directions, but not quite down to a standstill. So we're seeing delays eastbound from around Monona Drive to Verona Road. Westbound delays start around Fish Hatchery Road and go back to around John Nolan Drive. Also some delays actually eastbound on US 12 north of Middleton. Right now, about just shy of a half-hour trip on the Beltline from University Avenue to the interstate. 20 minutes going back in the westbound direction. Heading out of Madison, 28 minutes down to Janesville on I-3990 from the Beltline southward. 18 minutes to Sauk City on US 12 and 21 minutes on East Washington Avenue and US 151 to Sun Prairie. That's your News 3 Now First Alert traffic.
All right, thank you, Gary.
Still ahead on News 3 Now at 5, how a new toolkit aims to help employers in the workplace. That's after a short break. Stay with us. The opioid crisis is so widespread, it has invaded even the workplace.
Kenneth Craig reports on the launch of a new toolkit to help employers navigate the epidemic.
Safety experts say 75% of U.S. employers have faced the problem of opioid abuse in the workplace, but that most are not prepared to handle it. Surgeon General Jerome Adams says every employer should have overdose medication on hand.
My message to employers and to the larger community is carry naloxone with you. Make it available in public spaces.
Adam says his own brother suffers from addiction and that opioid abuse is one of his highest priorities. He joined labor and drug experts to unveil a toolkit for employers called Opioids at Work. It includes materials for human resources, safety professionals, supervisors, and employees.
We spend an awful lot of time at work. And so the workplace is a wonderful opportunity and a wonderful location to communicate, to educate, and to share information about substance use.
Rex Butler's brother, Bill, overdosed on methadone he was using for back pain.
He passed away the very night that he got the prescription.
He now works to spread awareness about the dangers of prescription painkillers.
I never in a million years dreamed I'd be talking about this to anybody, and of course I never thought I'd lose my brother Bill either. So, but it's encouraging to know that even in death, he's helping people.
The new toolkit can be downloaded from the nonprofit National Safety Council, which says the epidemic has reached the point where Americans are now more likely to die from an accidental overdose than a car crash. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, New York.
And stay with us. We'll have another check of your forecast in just a moment.
Summer's sticking around for a while.
Yeah, the humidity levels are high. There are some showers and thunderstorms in eastern Iowa, but they've been fizzling as they push towards southwestern Wisconsin. So it may be that areas down around Grant County see a shower or thunderstorm this evening. Temperatures right now upper 70s and low 80s, but the dew point temperatures mid 60s to around 70. And those winds out of the south continuing to bring in that moisture. So look for temperatures in the low 80s next couple of days, but some relief in the way for next week.
All right, Gary, thanks. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 5. We're back in 30 minutes. Stay tuned now for the CBS Evening News.